second-class citizens. The identities that we give ourselves as second-class citizens in turn makes it acceptable to treat women like second-class citizens. So you and I, we are all responsible for every kind of violence that happens against women because we have given social sanction to that kind of violence against women. So I would like to say, perhaps, I would like to end by saying that one of the things, perhaps, one of the oaths, one of the pledges that we can take is that on no account, all of you must be as mothers raising sons. I will not just say something, very vague sounding like respect women. What does it mean? Huh? I will say, teach your sons to believe that every woman he meets is his equal. Teach your son to believe in gender equality. Make your son a feminist. Before you start telling your daughters that they must come back by 6 p.m. and if they come of age, they must wear a dupatta to cover themselves. In fact, if you don't say that, so much the better. But constantly remind yourselves, remind your sons, the problem really is there. If you've been seeing the sort of posters that lots of young women and men have been carrying following the Nirbhaya atrocity, many of them were saying, don't teach us how to dress, teach your sons not to rape, right? They were saying, don't teach us what to do, teach your sons what not to do. So I think there is tremendous work, and that work should start from ourselves. We should begin by thinking, no matter how a woman dresses, no matter where she is standing, no matter who she is with, whether her boyfriend or a married husband, maybe somebody else, even if she's coming out of a bar or a pub at 9 p.m. or 10 p.m., she has the right to not be violated. A woman who's a sex worker has a right to not be raped, right? No matter who we are, what caste, what class, how we work, who we live with, what our personal life choices are, what our sexual relationships are, whether we are in a marriage, whether we are divorced, whether we are in a live-in relationship, no matter who we are, we have a fundamental right as a citizen of this country to choose and to make our life choices and to have our bodily integrity protected. That's a radical idea for India, unfortunately. It's an idea that is acceptable in many parts of the world, but not in India. There's always a notion of the good victim and the bad victim. So who was she with? What was she wearing? At what time? Then maybe there's something wrong with that girl. Maybe she was asking for it. So that idea, right, that has its roots in the way in which we raise our sons and daughters, in the lives that we live in our homes. So I'm going to start by saying, and I'm going to end by saying, please end the social consent there is for violence against women. There's a lot that lawyers and advocates like Vaigai are doing in the courts, but that's only part of the battle. There's a huge battle that you and I can wage. And every time you hear a sentiment voice, that girl was like that, you should be the first person to stand up and say, shut up. You have no business to speak about this. Every woman has a right to live without violence, no matter what her identity is, no matter what her life choices are. So I would finally end by saying, I think the biggest gift that you can give your children is to be part of families and households that are gender equal and democratic. If you can ask yourselves, are your homes gender equal spaces? One of the most empowering things about my own childhood when I grew up, and I consider it a gift from my parents, was that I saw an immensely powerful mother. My mother was a feminist and she lived her politics. She believed and she practiced gender equality at home. That has, I owe my entire life to that. Who I am today is primarily because I saw an equal relationship. I saw the practice of gender equality, not just the rhetoric of it. Right? So I would say that is the biggest gift that you can give your sons and your daughters and yourselves. And on this Women's Day, let's make an oath to give ourselves and our children that gift. Thank you very much for your patience here.
Thank you, madam. As you remembered about the ancient times, I also read 2 years before in a magazine that in Brazil, in Amazon forest, there still lives a tribe where the tribe is led and headed by women. And ever after the woman child is born, the birth of the woman child, at a particular age, they will sacrifice one right side of the chest part to practice how to give a bow and arrow so that its long goes and hits the target. Still they live. So it's an example that women are still long-going hunters. And as you said, madam, today I am here in this society speaking before all of you because of one single homemaker, Kalaichevi Parthasarathi, that's my mother. That's why all the mothers, the homemakers, how these people are sitting, and these people also a homemaker producing their siblings. So, as Madam said, we take this opportunity and we promise and take the oath that we should give a gender equality and teach our sons how to respect a women. Thank you, Madam. Now, we have a book release on Women's Day. I request our beloved Madam, General Manager Rita, to release the book on Women's Day. And I request YK Madam to receive the copy and Madam Dr. Kalpana to receive the copy. Ladies and gentlemen, here we have a man of humbleness, simplicity, the hero behind the wage revision settlement and efforts he took to get us the 2 Saturdays holiday. Thank you, thank you. So you should have by the time identified whom I am going to call upon. Now I request our beloved General Secretary to deliver the special address on Women's Day.
After the fiery speech of my friend Kalpana, I don't know what to speak. Our beloved President, Comrade Krishnan, Madam Vaihi, Madam Rita, Kalpana, and my dear members of the SBIOACC family. It has been a great occasion. We have had 3 excellent speakers. I never expected that it could be so successful, and I am really happy that we could have a really great Women's Day, which will be recorded in our history. I know that a lot of our women comrades will not be able to participate, so I had arranged for a webcast, and the webcast was available from 5:15. So a lot of our comrades must be seeing this, listening to these speeches sitting at home. About Madam Rita, I want to tell 2 things. One, not many general managers take the risk of helping others who are junior in the ladder and getting into trouble. When a lady officer was to be charge sheeted, when the CBI wanted to file a case against a junior officer who is a lady, Madam refused to give that sanction. But I know that there are other GMs who have given that kind of a sanction, and we are defending even AGMs. Who are lady AGMs, who have been charge sheeted and also subjected to court case filed by the CBI. In this particular case, the CBI was not happy with what Madam took as a decision as a general manager, and she was summoned to Delhi. No other officer wanted to go and face the CBI there. But she had that guts and courage to go to CBI office in Delhi, argued with them for hours and convinced that what decision I have taken is correct. Beyond that, you want to do whatever you want, you do it, but I will not change my recommendation. Secondly, Madam told you about your role in the family. At times, career and this has to go together and you have to take a firm decision. Madam took a firm decision to come to Chennai. Otherwise, today she would have been in the corporate center preparing bank's balance sheet, which she is an expert. The present chairman did not want her to leave till that chairman took a retirement or she takes a retirement, and she had offered her that you stay back till your retirement in corporate center. But Madam took a decision that now I have done enough for the bank. I will continue to do, but I should also take care of my family. And instead of sitting there preparing the balance sheet and going to foreign countries every 15 days, presenting the balance sheet and explaining to the investors and auditors what is the intricacy of what balance sheet holds, she took a decision to come to Chennai as GM, as number 2. There she would have been, most of these DMDs will be almost reporting to her, asking her, and chairman also had been depending on data from her only. So that kind of a decision will come to you also, each one of you. I am glad that a lot of young comrades have participated in this meeting today. In your career, that kind of a day will